Ida B, Chapter 5. This is what I eat for breakfast every single day. Hot rolled oats with raisins and milk, no sugar. Even in the summer, especially in the winter. Every once in a while, Mama will ask me, "Don't you want a little variety, Ida B?" Now, when we get up, most times it's still dark outside. Sometimes at breakfast, I'm so tired it's all I can do to keep my head propped up by my arm on the table, and I only open my eyes to make sure the oats are on the spoon and headed toward my mouth. But I close them while I chew. I'm not ready for deep thoughts or surprises. So when Mama asks me that, I say, "It's too early for variety, Mama." This is what I have for lunch every single day. Peanut butter on one slice of bread, milk, and an apple. Preferably a Macintosh because they're tangy with a thin skin, which Daddy says resembles me at times. "Don't you want to try something different, Ida B?" Daddy will say. Well, by lunchtime, I'm wide awake, and I've already been busy doing my chores and learning and having some fun. I've got a list of things that I can't wait to do in the afternoon. My head is filled to the rim with interesting ideas and plans, and that's exactly how I want it to stay. There are too many things to think about in this world besides what I'm going to have for lunch, Daddy, I say, and he looks at me like I'm a true mystery. This is what I have for dinner every day, whatever Mom and Daddy are fixing, and lots of it, unless it's lima beans or Brussels sprouts. Mama and Daddy might ask, "Would you like some more, Ida B?" And most often I will say, "Yes, please," especially if it's dessert. Otherwise, at dinner time, we just chat about the day and what we want to do tomorrow, and they ask me questions like, "What is the verb in the sentence?" Mama reluctantly served Ida B another slice of pie. Or, "Ida B, can you spell rambunctious and use it in a sentence?" And I answer, unless of course my mouth is full. Now, talking like that at dinner might seem kind of strange because I've been at other people's houses for meals and they don't ask each other, "What planet is closest to the sun, dear?" and "Would you please pass the potatoes?" Mouths full or not. The reason we talk like that is because up until last year, I was homeschooled. That meant I'd get up in the morning with Mama and Daddy and help with the chores. Then Mama and I would learn math and science, like the 8 times tables or the parts of a planet, or Ida B, if I give you $20 to go to the store to buy some flour. And before she could get any further, I'd say, "Which store?" "It doesn't matter." "Well, am I walking? Because I think it's too far for me to walk to the store in town and carry a big sack of flour back with me." Then she'd frown at me and say, "Oh, Ida B. Now let me finish," like I was seriously trying her patience. But I wasn't being a cause for a headache on purpose. It just seemed like she was telling me a story about me, and I wanted to know for sure what was happening so I could make a plan. Because I'll tell you something else about myself. I believe good plans are the best way to maximize fun, avoid disaster, and possibly save the world. I spend a lot of my time making them. So then Mom would say, "Let's start again. Billy Rivers' mother gave him $20 to go to the store." "Who is Billy Rivers?" I'd ask. "Nobody real, just pretend." "Then could he be a girl instead of a boy? And could she be named Delilah? And could she have green glasses that sparkle?" "Ida B." "Okay, then go on." She'd give me the rest of the information. I'd put the numbers down on the paper and get the answer right about 99% of the time. And Mom would say, "Good job, Ida B, once you get to it." Later on in the afternoon, Daddy would read with me in the big chair, or we'd write stories. Most of the time, though, we would just be living like always and talking about things, and then we'd make the solar system out of vegetables. Or Mama would have me figure out how much change we would get at the checkout at the store, and I'd say $7.86. "She's very smart," the woman at the cash register would tell Mama. And Mom would say, with only one side of her mouth making a smile. It meant we'd read and talk about the rocks in our valley and the mountains, and how they've been around for so long, and they changed so slowly. And they were here way before us and will go on after us too. Then, when I'd go and put my cheek against the big rock that sticks out of the side of the mountain and feel its warmth run into my body, I'd listen hard for its voice. When I finally heard it, It was like a low, gentle hum that went on for all the time. And all that stuff I'd learned about rocks made sense in my head and deep inside me, too. Being homeschooled meant I didn't have to ride squished on a smelly old bus or sit still in a stuffy room all day. Mama made me take a test every year, and every year I'd pass with super brilliant flying colors. And I got to stay right where I liked it best, hanging around with Mama and Daddy, Rufus and Lulu, the trees and the mountains, and the snakes and the birds all day, every day. It seemed like the best place in the world to me. So there's a little bit of foreshadowing there. Does anybody have an idea of what might happen